Order the September 27th Seminole County School Board meeting. Tonight we have with us a young man from Seminole High School, and I'm going to ask Dr. Connie Collins, the principal of Seminole, to come and introduce our student invoker.
Good evening, Superintendent Griffin, board members, and friends. I am honored to introduce Darnell Bush, a senior at Seminole High School, who is going to share some things about his time at Seminole and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Darnell Bush. I am a senior at Seminole High School, where I have a grade point average of 3.5. I am an athlete and participate in basketball and football. I am a member of the National Honor Society. This year, I am also taking 2 dual enrollment classes. I am most inspired by my hero, my older brother, Pernell Bush, because he struggled in high school but went on to college where he earned his master's degree. He now owns his own business. My goal is to attend college and pursue my interests in engineering and sports. During my sophomore year, I was expelled from Seminole and sent to Journeys for a poor decision. Being expelled caused me to think a lot about my decisions. I learned a lot. I learned to control my behavior since I returned to Seminole High. I have not had a referral, and I continually been on the honor roll. In fact, my principal considers me an outstanding role model for other students. I am most grateful for my mom, sitting right there. Hey, Mom. I am most grateful for my mom because she pushed me to do my homework and not to settle for a C on my report cards. She wants me to be above average, just like my other 3 brothers. Please stand with me now and join me in the pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much for being here, Darnell. That was fabulous. Tonight we have Mr. Bauer back with us this evening. We're so excited to have you. We've missed you.
I've missed you guys too.
Bet you did. I bet you did. We're happy you're here. And I'm probably going to get some grief later on for drawing attention to it, but that's okay. Mrs. Schaffner is with us tonight. Mrs. Almond is joining us by phone.
I'm here.
All right. Superintendent Griffin and our attorney, and I am present tonight. Dr. Calderon could not be with us. So with that, let's see, we have joining us from the Business Advisory Board, Sean Essler. Sean, are you here this evening? Thank you so much for all you do. And also from the Business Advisory Board, Don Jensen. Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Superintendent, do you have any modifications to the agenda?
Yes, Ms. Lockhart, I have 3 items. The addendum for good cause is marked on an electronic agenda by a green flag named addendum item. Also going to pull 2 items, item 2B, administrator introduction, and 3A, focused on student achievement.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. School board members, do you have any agenda modifications? Mrs. Schaffner.
I have a question on 4V as in very.
All right, 4V for Ms. Schaffner and Mr. Bauer.
No, ma'am.
Mrs. Almond?
No question, thank you.
All right, great, thank you. All right, so I have a motion to approve the agenda outline.
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Superintendent, do we have any presentations?
Yes, we do. Please join me up front.
board members, and Dr. Griffin. Tonight, we are proud to present to the board some of Seminole County's most outstanding students. On the spring 2016 statewide assessments, Seminole had 603 students who achieved a perfect score on one or more statewide assessments. Of those 603 students, 68 received a perfect score on all assessments in which they were eligible to participate. We are honoring these students tonight. Several students are unable to be with us this evening because of previous commitments to band, sports, and work obligations. The students in attendance tonight will be presented by school level, elementary, middle, and high. As we announce each student, we ask that the parents and the current and prior principals who are here with us tonight also stand to be honored.
First student for elementary, from Bear Lake Elementary, Anjanine Hanselia. From Evans Elementary, Stephen Watterson. From Parton Elementary, Annabelle Etz. Also from Parton Elementary, Emma Williston. From Rainbow Elementary, John Barsoom. From Stenstrom Elementary, Nadiria Balasundaram. From Sterling Park Elementary, we have Ashton Alteri. Also from Sterling Park, we have Amelia King. A third student from Sterling Park, Elizabeth Roberts. And a student that is now currently at South Seminole, Cindy Jane. We'd like to congratulate all of our elementary students for a job well done. Thank you.
And now we have middle school. The students being honored tonight are Lawton Childs Middle School's Hannah Connell, Markham Woods Gannon Stoner, and Sanford Middle School Sana Churi. Congratulations to all middle school for your excellent work and great commitment. Thank you.
I am honored that we had 55 high school students who achieved a perfect score on all eligible assessments, including one with a perfect score in both the grade 9 ELA and Algebra 2 assessment, and 6 with perfect scores on the grade 10 ELA. Tonight we honor several of those students. From Crooms, perfect scores U.S. History, Ryan Mackler. Haggerty High School, perfect score U.S. History, Ian Brown. John Fulginetti. Hudson Kaufman. Rajiv Narayanan. Colton Richard. Zach Winningham. Logan Zolo. From Lake Brantley High School, perfect score U.S. History, Paul Groh. Aaron Harvey. Thomas McCormick. Mary McIntosh. Stephanie Nolan. And Stephen Terry. From Lake Mary High School, U.S. History, Jacqueline Barron. And Ryan Sifrit. Lyman High School, U.S. History, Joshua Wood. Oviedo High School, U.S. History, Kaylee Davis. Daniel Dyson. Andrew Fentress. Carly Mitchell. Alex Petty. Benjamin Sheary. And Aaron Tammy. Also like to recognize our high school principals here in attendance tonight. Mr. Joe Tribus from Oviedo, Ms. Mary Williams from Haggerty High School, Mr. Michael Kotkin from Lake Mary High School, Mr. Mike Rice from Lyman High School, Dr. Trent Daniel from Lake Brantley High School. And Ms. Demetria Faison from Crooms Academy of Information Technology. And of course, Dr. Connie Collins from Seminole. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Awful. Gonna wait till they get out.
And now the room empties out.
I know.
No one stays for the good stuff.
No. All right, well, as our families and our students make their way out of the board meeting, we'll move on. Where are we? The items that were pulled for clarifying questions.
We need to wait a minute.
They're moving.
I think what I'll do is go ahead and let you all know that Chairman Calderon is being appointed to serve on the RFQ for the CM at Risk Services for Millennium Middle School. So we'll go ahead and get that on the record. And then Mrs. Schaffner, when you are ready, we'll talk about item 4V.
V is in Victor.
Yes.
Yes,
And that
it's
begins on page
230.
230. All right, thank you.
And it's regarding the digital classroom plan. I know that we were required by the state to fill out an actual plan of what we're going to do for the digital classroom money that they have allocated. And I was reading this, number 2 on here makes it sound like, and maybe I'm just reading this wrong, makes it sound like this is to be used for testing. The devices that are purchased with this are used. Could you elaborate on that a little?
Absolutely, Ms. Schaffner, and I'll begin by saying that I am frustrated about that. The original purpose of the digital classroom dollars was really to enhance technology integration in the classroom. We know, sitting here, our team knows, technology is a lot more than putting one computer in a child's hands so they have a computer for testing. We envision much higher level things, maker spaces, students interacting with equipment, manufacturing equipment, but these dollars really now are being geared towards testing so that we have enough devices so that we can eventually do full grade levels of testing at one time. So it's become, I would say, much more categorical than the original intent of technology integration.
So how close will this bring us to having the opportunity for us to grade to test one whole grade level at one time?
You know, we can, I haven't calculated exactly, but we'll be getting closer to it. The challenge is, what one grade level do we do? Because we really don't want to just put all the devices in one grade level. You've all been in our blended classrooms where we have 5 or 6 devices being used as part of blended instruction. But the intent of this is, over the course of years with the digital dollars, is to continue to purchase so that you can achieve full grade level testing and the grade level at our discretion.
And I know we've also got to keep up with the technology too, so it has to be refreshed on a regular basis.
That's exactly.
So do we ever get to the point where we're not playing catch up?
I don't think so. I don't think with technology, probably honestly with devices that a student owns a device and uses it all the time, 4 or 5 years is probably the maximum life that we could get out of it, which means in 4 or 5 years, you start the cycle all over again. And with the computer-based testing at elementary, middle, and high school, if we really have to have one full grade level testing, I would imagine what we would work towards is a one-to-one opportunity at one of the elementary levels, one at middle, and then one at high school to help all the schools with the complexities of that scheduling, trying to get the kids down to the computer labs. But it's a little bit troubling because really the intent for us was a much higher level use of technology.
That's what I thought. So when I read that, I was a little bit concerned. Thank you.
I too had concerns from the perspective of the fact that I think that we have another situation where our legislature allocated funds in a budget for something that they believed was going to be used for instructional purposes. And once it made its way through DOE, it's now being used for testing purposes. And I'm frustrated that our superintendent is being asked to sign a document saying that he agrees with, is complicit with this particular plan. It's sort of, you know, one arm tied behind your back, sign this. And I don't know how other board members might feel, but I would not be opposed to asking the superintendent if he would like to make some editorial comments on this form along with his signature. I think signing it without making note of our concerns might not help us in the long run. I don't know.
Well, and we heard one of our legislators the other day, and when he was explaining this part of the bill, he said it was going to be for testing. So I don't know that that was the intent from some of the legislators originally.
But I would be more than happy to craft a little statement, you know, to put on there, because really our intent was never to use all of this money. We certainly are increasing the number of devices, and our ratio is getting better, but the intent was instructional, not testing.
Well, we're on testing in computers. The computer carts that we have, or
Yes.
I guess call it carts, that roll around to various sundry classes, those seem to be pretty successful.
Yes.
And it certainly makes it mobile as far as being able to move things around. Issues with those at all?
They are very, very usable because of the flexibility.
Right.
Over the past 4 or 5 years, the carts are much easier to handle. You've seen in some of the classrooms now, the teachers are sharing, it's a rack, and
Yes.
the charging racks for that, which I think are even nicer,
Absolutely.
as long as we have enough of them to put around. But the flexibility of the laptops, I really think, is where we need to do most of our purchases. I think the days are gone of us having enough space to create these computer labs that may or may not be used every period. And research is crystal clear as far as the testing side of it, that you should be testing students in the area and the environment that they are learning, not
Right.
pull kids out of a classroom and put them in an artificial environment for testing. So I think the laptops serve dual purpose for us.
Mr. Bauer?
I would like it if the superintendent's going to add some
Is your mic on?
editorial comments, that we let our legislative delegation know that these editorial comments are coming,
Yeah.
so that when they hear about them, they've been forewarned.
Okay. Be happy to.
Mrs. Almond, do you have anything you'd like to contribute to that idea?
Actually tried to weigh in, but you could hear me. Hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm in agreement with what you and Jeff both said. I just concur with that. Thank you.
I think she concurs with me.
I agree.
Okay, great, thank you.
I think that was all that was.
Okay. All right, so with that, do we have a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
All right, motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right. Let's see, public comments, right?
That's
Is that
right.
where we are?
Yep.
All right. Dr. Griffin's job is to make sure I don't wing it. All right, tonight for public comment, we have 3 different individuals, and I'll just invite you all to come up and you can speak one right after the other. Sandra Gomez, Dan Smith, and Franklin Fernandez. And while you all are making your way up, we have a statement that we always read before taking public input from our community. The public input segment of the meeting is provided to allow the public to present specific matters to the school board for consideration and referral to the superintendent and staff for inquiry and action, or to address specific items on the agenda. The public input segment of the meeting is not open to presentation of campaign issues by political candidates or others, student disciplinary actions, pending employee disciplinary matters, or pending litigation. It is the intent of the school board to it is not the intent of the school board to deprive anyone of his or her right of freedom of expression. It is, however, the intent of the school board to promote mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct on the part of members of the public appearing before the board. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes and must clearly identify the matter to be addressed on the speaker sign-up form. Speakers shall direct their comments only to the school board and may not address the audience. Speakers that do not comply with this direction will be asked to leave the lectern. That's a lot to say. Ms. Gomez.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Sandra Gomez, and I'm an employee of Seminole County Public School. I work at Winter Springs High School. I wanted to talk about the Hispanic Heritage Month. I always have celebrated, and this year, on my own volition, I'm not going to celebrate it, and I came to tell you why and to see if you can support me with this. You know that in September of 1968, the Congress authorized President Lyndon B. Johnson to proclaim the National Hispanic Heritage Month, and it went from 30 days. When President Johnson called specially upon the educational community to join the celebration of Hispanic heritage, Hispanics were severely underrepresented in the very classrooms that we were doing the celebrations, and especially in the higher education. Today, we're still the less educated segment of the society. I went ahead and got some facts from the census, and just to provide a few, because I went on our page, and we're proudly proclaiming that we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, and it just made me think more. The total population on the current census is 56.6, and that was a year ago, so I'm pretty sure we're to 57. Of those, 23%, 23.6 of Hispanic are in the poverty level. So that's significant. Of that same group, around 15% of age are 25 or older, and they hold a bachelor's degree. And of that, 1.4 have an advanced degree. 16.4 are enrolled in college, 24 of them, which is a high percent in elementary and high school. And 67% of the population 16 and older are civilian on the workforce. And I see it in my school in some of the jobs that they hold. Why this is important? Tomorrow when you visit my school and you walk around, I want you the first thing to see when you get to the two hallways, the pictures of the students on the walls. And I want you to see yourself if they represent the student population that we serve. It's like when I was seeing all the kids coming in, I was like, what happened? Where are mine? Why are they not being represented? Well, we eliminated the Spanish speaker program at my school this year. It was a unilateral decision, and this affected me a great deal. Let me tell you how. When schools provide children with quality education, and they provide a language in their primary, you give them two things, knowledge and literacy, and that's what we're concerned like educators. The knowledge that students get through their first language helps them make that jump to English, and they hear and they read and they comprehend. Literacy develops in the primary language and transfers to the second language. They connect with what they read. I have students who just came from Puerto Rico and they're in Spanish 1, Spanish 2, for students who are not native speaker, so they're not being challenged, and I'm seeing them every day, and that pains me a great deal to the point this is the first time after 30 years living here, I'm coming and speaking to you.
Ms. Gomez.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so sorry.
My 3 minutes are up?
Yes, they are. But
How
what I would really
quick?
love to do, because I want to hear the rest of what, I think all of us probably would be very interested in hearing the rest of what you have to say.
I'm sorry. How
Oh,
quick?
don't apologize.
No, how
You're the
quick?
first person who's run over who said they're sorry.
Okay.
So-
I
Usually
try
when
to
you run over, you don't
synthesize it and write it, and but thank you. I can send it in writing.
Please do, and please, if you would, maybe speak with Mr. Gaudreau, right here in the front. I think we need to all learn better about what it is you're talking about.
Yes,
All
we're
right.
the second after New York in population. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Smith.
Sorry. I have 3 minutes?
Yes,
All right,
3.
I'm not gonna time it. I'm not around that much tonight. Right, ma'am? Right. Hello, my name is Dan Smith. I'm an employee at Seminole County Public Schools. I'm a teacher at Lake Brantley High School. And I'm standing a little disappointed, and I'm going to speak for the third time since I saw it, regarding the school calendar that was implemented, specifically the decision to end Q1 on Yom Kippur. Now, last February, I addressed this with its perceived insensitivity, and although I understand the decision not to be open on the holidays, it's a small population. What I'd asked for at the time, not specifically, but to hope that something would be in place, some type of plan to handle the inevitable concerns that are important to a large population, maybe not large, but a small population of our county here. Specifically, I wanted to have a policy in place on how to excuse the students so there wouldn't be any embarrassment and any questioning of any type, to take it off of the religious purposes. Something so our Jewish students and parents wouldn't have to prove their religion of any type and have any documentation. And as of a couple of weeks ago, I can tell you there are still officials who feel the plan is going to be that they need to have some documentation from their temple or that they were attending services, and it's not appropriate. Our school, the place, it's not our place to judge and make a decision on how religious one person would be. I'm sure there's many people who are observant at home, and I think we should take it at face. And I'm a little saddened that still in September that there's still uncertainty about that. Now, I am concerned simply because that the importance of it, you may not be aware of this, but the Anti-Defamation League puts out the rise of hate group incidents, and I'm talking about all hate groups, not specifically anti-Semitic, but they're up 9% in 2015. And it's important to me because I happen to work in a school that was riddled with swastikas last May. And these things happen, certainly, but I had to watch, we had students who were taking pictures, selfies, and, you know, in front of it like it was some type of Disney attraction or something and posting it. And it's a little disturbing, okay? I didn't hear anything from you guys regarding that. I didn't hear any comment or anything as to what to do in that situation. And it was a little, I shouldn't take it personally, but it does hurt a little bit, all right? I don't think we should be silent on these things. If something like this happens, I think it's prudent that we need to address them. Maybe it was nothing, but, you know, 70 years later, it still hurts. Painting them over is just a little bit superficial. It's still going to be there if they're painting the stuff up. So now we're here in September, a week from Rosh Hashanah, and there's still not a specific plan in place. I did a quick searching, and I can tell you that a couple of counties got it right. Pinellas County opened the same day we did. They decided to end their quarter on the 11th. Hillsborough opened the same day. They decided to end their quarter on the 7th. I'm just saying it could have been done. With a little bit of work and a little bit of change, I feel it could have been done. Otherwise, I do appreciate the fact that you did insist that there be no exams given on Yom Kippur, and I do appreciate that. But I would have rather you had the whole thing done, the whole thing in place, and there wouldn't have been any concern.
Mr. Smith?
Otherwise, thank you.
I'm sorry, you're over your 3 minutes at this point.
Thank you.
I will ask Dr. Griffin, because I think many of your points, while you may not feel like they were heard, I think that they were, and I'll ask Dr. Griffin to address how things are, the plan that is in place for this year.
Yes. On Wednesday, October 12th, the executive director sent out to all the principals regarding October 12th that there are not to be exams that day, that students, of course, are excused, they need to be excused. But I think the most amount of confusion was regarding the teachers, and we've reiterated that. Contractually, teachers cannot take a personal day prior to a work day, which happens to be on a Thursday, except for religious holidays. We've tried to get that word out to be sensitive, so people who can and want to celebrate Yom Kippur can do that. So the three pieces that we addressed, the testing and the exams, the student excuse, and the teacher excuse. And I'm saying teacher would be any employee.
Okay. And I think, to Mr. Smith's point, the idea of being asked for a specific slip from your synagogue saying that you attended services is probably over the top. So that is not what we are requesting. Is that is correct, right?
Mr. Godrich, do we make any comments on that? Are you aware of that? Dr. Wyndham? Dr. Cummings? Dr. No.
So if a family, if a family were to be asked by a school principal to produce a letter from their synagogue, that would be inappropriate, correct? And for the record, they are all nodding their heads yes. Okay.
And to please let the executive directors know.
Yes.
That happens.
Thank you. Okay.
And please let the principals know, yeah.
Yeah, we'll.
All right. Mr. Fernandez, welcome.
Good evening, members of the school committee. I'm very honored to be here. I come from the Merrimack Valley of Massachusetts. It's the upper northeast section of Massachusetts that are approximately about 30 minutes from Boston, just to give you a little geographical reference. Had the opportunity to work as chief of staff for the state legislature in Boston, specifically Representative Devers, who represented the major city of Lawrence, which is a population of about 44,000 or more. And, but it's a minority community where it had a lot of challenges, and the school department committee, I should say, had their hands full. You know, very long history of struggles they went through. And, you know, sadly, they fell through receivership from the state, but they're on a rebound. They're coming back. So there's a lot of lessons learned there. And I can say working closely with the state rep and the chairman of the education committee for the state, how they really focus hard on helping every single community, making sure that their districts are achieving their goals the best they can. So I know it's a common theme across the country. We're doing the best we can. And I really applaud the committee and the school department for doing the hard work they're doing. I come with the opinion that complaining is not enough. It's easy to find mistakes or things that could be corrected, but it takes hands-on. And so that's why I'm here. I'm saying hi, and also saying that I'm anxious to get my hands into the water, or whatever the phrase they use here in Florida, because I believe that we all make education better. So if you wanted to keep it short, I know I'm about a minute and a half, but thank you for allowing me to address the committee in general, and I'm looking forward to working close to each and one of you. Thank you so much.
All right, Mr. Superintendent, with no unfinished business or new business, do you have a report?
Yes, there are two items. They're read-only items in the superintendent's report. One is the grants report, and the other is the annual investment performance report.
All right, thank you. Board members, for committee comments and any updates. Mrs. Schaffner?
I think I'll hold mine until next meeting and we have everybody with us.
Okay. Mr. Bauer?
I have no reports, but I would like to thank the board and staff, the superintendent, and of course Jill. For the last 2 months, I've kind of been out of, dealing with a health issue. And in a way, it's been a blessing because most of the things I used to complain about and that I hear people complaining about aren't that important. So I've gained new perspective. But I want to thank you all for your indulgence in dealing with me being gone and helping me helping me out by getting to meetings that you usually don't have to go to. I couldn't have done it without you, and thank you for your indulgence.
We're glad to have you back.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be back.
Very
bet
glad
you
to have you back. We were all happy to do it and pitch in, and we're just glad that you're here. And
I heard you got along when I wasn't here, so that was good.
we did, we did. All right. Is there anything else to come before the board? Oh, Member Almond, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm going to offer my comments for our next meeting. I welcome Member back as well.
All right. Just going to wait till next month and welcomes you back as well, is what I heard. All right, fantastic. All right, thank you.
I was waiting for the translation.
Well, that's what it's been like the last 2 months with you on the phone. All right. All right, well, with nothing else to come before the board, this meeting stands adjourned.